Hey, what's up everybody? It's Lids, and we're back for some more Hades, and it has been a while, but the most recent update just came out for Hades, the blood price, and I don't exactly remember where we left off.
I wouldn't have noticed if it weren't half your job. If there's something you wish to say to me, why not just come right out?
Well, I see. The thing is, Megara, Miss Megara, mind if I call you that? As I was saying, I just thought maybe, we had a thing, a real connection lately, since you keep on dying more and more, and I keep standing here, but then I always thought you were invincible.
Someone tells me that's a touchy subject.
And so you're realizing now that your entire image of me came from your imagination. Is that it?
No, it's just, I really thought with all my advice that you'd go back to killing Zagreus rather than the other way around. I just don't think things are working out the way I hoped,
It almost sounds as though you've broken up with me, except... Well, are you sure that you'll be alright?
Oh, turning the tables on Hypnos.
Yeah, look, I'm just glad it's one of you two. Sure beats having to greet shades nonstop. They never talk to me.
Alright then. You greet me next time here.
And a new look for Meg as well. I think that has existed, but it is very unusual. So, it is The Blood Price is the name of the new expansion, and according to Supergiant, the developers, it is the largest expansion yet. As for what exactly to expect in it, I looked ever so briefly at some of the patch notes. However, for the most part, this is going to be a surprise. So let's see.
What's the giant pact posted out in the courtyard, Father? You offering me a job?
Perish the thought. It's so that all your toiling can be more painful, nothing more.
Thanks, Dad.
Why would I want my toiling to be more painful than it already is?
Who knows, boy, or better yet, who cares? To make the mortals up there worship you for all your labors? Go on, then, go get yourself dispatched some more, so I can make well certain that my realm can properly contain you.
It's a deal.
Okay.
Hey, did you
Cerberus
see,
as
boy?
well?
The old lounge is good as new again. You have to check it out. Just don't annihilate it like you did last time.
Each savage countenance of Cerberus lights up to hear the news, doubtless beginning to assemble stratagems for ravaging the lounging area once more.
Don't even think about it, boy.
What can you say? It's what he does. No Achilles here. But Thanatos, yes.
I saw the faded list of minor prophecies was requisitioned through the house contractor, Zagreus. Didn't take you for an agent of the fates.
Turns out I'm full of surprises, Thanatos. Though the three fates are your sisters, aren't they? Surprised you didn't requisition the list yourself.
Because they're all children of Nyx, actually.
Guess it just wasn't meant to be. Though, I don't know them at all. Keep only to themselves somewhere. Sometimes I wonder whether everything really is preordained or whether they're making all this up as they go.
I can hazard a guess.
But yeah, so I think that new dialogue is definitely a piece, potentially for several of the characters. Port music stand. Special item authorizes playback of music pieces from the vault. Oh, that sounds very interesting. You have precisely 1 diamond at the moment, and everything else looks like it costs gems, other than this that we can't afford. Give the house contractor a break, and new jobs. What? The deluxe decks? Okay, on second thought, maybe that is best that we save up for that, because that sounds like that could be a very big deal. As for Orpheus here, if I'm not mistaken, your appearance is new.
It's awfully quiet here, when you're out and about. Makes me a bit self-conscious, truth be told, seeing as ostensibly I'm the musician of this court.
I mean, you could perhaps do something about making things not be so quiet. But anyways, nothing else here in the lounge. Let's head on out, or at least talk to Nyx before we do so.
The Olympians can't really see me, can they, Nyx? I mean, not very well. I get that they can sense details here and there, but they don't know the full extent of what's going on. Are we really so far beyond their influence?
It is a little odd that they can't see us, but we can see them.
And theirs. They know as much as necessary to assist.
And I trust they shall, for as long as you require. They are bound to one another as family, and they know that you require aid. Do not be too prideful to accept.
Oh, we will not be. Don't you worry, Nyx.
I won't.
That will not be an issue. However, also, the option to lie down here. Now, previously that has meant some kind of significant plot event might transpire. Let's see if that is also the case here.
The heavy sleeping underworld prince arises, with the feeling that the brief nap he intended as a respite from the rigors of the day or night apparently was none too brief at all.
Wait, are you saying we time travel when we sleep?
I'm late for work. Father's going to kill me.
Hmm? What are we up to this time? And it does seem that these little areas that you can interact with, they have adjusted the appearance of those ever so slightly, and I do like the improvement.
Responsibility rejecting Zagreus strides down his father's hall, quite unconcerned about the urgency with which he is expected to behave under a set of circumstances such as this.
Going as fast as I can, you hurry up.
Okay.
The door to the administrative chamber beckons just beyond the hall. The prince perchance believes that he may enter quietly, without drawing the notice of those laboring within.
Ah, okay. Might we be able
Give me
to
away, old man.
get through some of the doors that we had not previously been able to get through, like namely this one right here? Part of me is wondering if this is actually a stealth mission.
Just you hurry in there, lad.
Oh! Achilles, can we actually talk to you?
Let's not keep your father waiting.
Also has a new appearance. What is the deal here?
Sorry.
You're late, boy. Again?
Yeah, this is our first time being in here.
The day or night's duties are sheer simplicity itself. At least at first, as when the prince simply signs in to signal the commencement of a shift.
Whoa!
Gods.
Get on with your responsibilities.
What?
Security reports concerning failed escape attempts from Tartarus require timely verification and official response, neither of which Prince Zagreus is fit to give.
Sorry?
That is not correct.
Now, I don't actually think this area is new to the game. I think it is just new to me personally. I've not yet been here.
Expired house contractor renovations line a desk in the administrative chamber, though the prince has absolutely no desire now to organize them alphabetically by date.
What? Alphabetically and by date?
None whatsoever, yes.
The often failing prince attempts to sort the ledgers in the fashion necessary for the proper keeping of his father's realm.
Damn it.
Incorrect.
Okay.
The hard-laboring shades responsible for the administration of the prince's father's realm merely look on at the prince's ill-fated attempts.
Oh, come on.
That's not correct.
The
Apparently we have some
relaxation-loving
fans.
prince never paid suitably enough attention to learn properly how to arrange the record bookings of the regions of his father's realm.
We have a general sense. It's the various realms, right?
Doesn't make any sense.
Wrong again.
This set of delicate responsibilities is easily achieved, at least by someone capable and trained to do the work, unlike the oft-distracted underworld prince.
Hey, I'm sure we had great reason for being distracted.
What?
Do you not remember anything I
Cerberus
taught?
needed to play, okay?
A careful record must be kept of all expenses paid within the house. A delicately handled tabulation process, which the prince is ill-equipped to fully undertake.
Math is hard.
Oh,
Enough, boy. Wrap it up.
Oh? No more options to interact with that stuff? Not sure what this is all about here. Just this.
At last, the work-disliking prince records a summary of the results of his attempts to be of any use to the administrative needs of his grim father's house.
okay, I'm done. So, can I go yet, Father?
Oh. And this is actually, I believe, the first time that we've seen Hades stand up outside of when we're actually finding him outside. When he's in the house, always been at his desk previously.
Not only were you late again, but then you also failed to perform even the simplest tasks that I had asked repeatedly that you complete. How many chances do you need at this? I am too lenient with you.
Too lenient? Instead of lambasting me non-stop, have you considered maybe training me some more to do this fascinating work to your satisfaction? You'll forgive me if I didn't memorize every laborious detail the last time you performed your monologue about how all this works.
Excuse me? If I'm not mistaken, you're deflecting your incompetence toward me? As though the goddess of wisdom herself has come to aid you in your time of need. I could replace you here and now with any number of simple shades hungry to work here.
Hey, Athena, we could use some help.
Then why don't you? I don't want any of this. I'm not the one who drew the short lot with your brothers and got stuck here forever. Why am I having to do this senseless parchment pushing for you?
Ooh, look out.
Why are you stuck? You're not. You're fired. I was wrong to think you were prepared to take on any responsibility at all. And don't you ever invoke your uncles here again, or I'll have you cast into the lowest pits of Tartarus. Now get out of my administration and my sight.
Okay. No problem, Dad.
At least I can't be late for that job anymore.
I suppose so. Alright. So yeah, like I said, that is all news to me. I don't think that that is actually new to the game. I think that that is just something that I personally have not yet seen, although I could be wrong about that. However, mostly, I wanted to get out going for a run here, because there are a bunch of things that are definitely new to the game. Again, I suppose neither of these are one of them, but we have not yet played as, or using, the fist here or the gun. I think we may have tested out the gun ever so briefly. But let's give it a shot in full here.
Here we go. Exegriff, the rail of adamant. Annihilate all who...
Because, you know, everyone understands that railguns are just commonplace in ancient Greek mythology. Skelly also looks different. Not as sure if I'm a fan of the changes for Skelly. But let's give him a little talk.
Hey, Skelly,
Catch
you
up with
look
him.
like you know your way around Tartarus. Found some of this ancient Titan blood out there, and I was looking to score some more.
Ah, you come to the right place regarding that there, pal. It's your mean weapons back there that can find this stuff. Once you get all the way through Tartarus with one, that's all the blood you're gonna get. For the time being, anyhow.
How am I
Alright.
supposed to keep track of which weapons I've earned these with, then?
I don't know, there's always the invention of writing stuff down. You'll figure something out.
Thanks, Skelly. So, with the railgun, our normal attack is not that strong, but it is pretty quick, and it is, of course, ranged. We do have 12 ammo, as you can see there. And then our special is, you know, one of those. And we can, of course, reload manually, as well as do a bit of dash shooting. That's the idea there. Now, let's just take a quick look at our keepsakes
Keepsakes hold power.
to see what we have equipped here. And I think what I'm going to go with is the Broken Spear Point, because I think that this is generally a very strong keepsake.
Okay.
Other than that, I'm just going to see if there are any changes here, because this looks... Is it just
I'm
me?
going to get through all this.
Or is that... Even the pathway leading up to this location might be a little more decorated? Maybe I'm making that up. But anyways, that's enough talk. Let's get going here. With the railgun, which I do think we don't necessarily need to use any heat on, because we have not done any runs with the railgun yet, so therefore we can just begin.
I think so.
No pact of punishment necessary. And now, we will definitely, I would hope,
Lord
be getting the
Ares.
opportunity to see some of the stuff that is well and truly new. Let's talk to Ares here.
Would that I knew the goddess Nyx myself, my kin. So many of my wars are waged by night. I am most grateful, and I wish her well.
That sounds like new dialogue, and I think the animation of Ares kind of beaming up next to us is also new. A little more dramatic. That's cool. So, we can have our normal attack, Inflict Doom, we can have our special Inflict Doom, we can have our dash create Blade Rifts, where we started. I do like the Blade Rift dash, and it is slightly rarer, so let's give that a shot. And so, it's going to be a bit of a learning experience here with the gun.
Shiny.
because, well, I'm not terribly used to it. And therefore, we'll see how far we get. Of course, fingers crossed that we'll have a successful run here, but no promises. Of course, we did get hit for the first time there. Now, I do believe that the special is particularly effective. As we can see here, we can take down people in one hit in many cases.
A gift.
It is slow, however.
More.
Hopefully, it's enough, though. So let's see, we can go with coins, or we can go with hammer upgrade. I think we definitely want to go with the hammer upgrade here. See what we can do with this railgun. And you see there the Chaos Gate. That'll be interesting to see how that goes. Let's load this up on you. And maybe shoot a few more of these. Okay, some more unfortunate damage, but just a little bit. And here, as for the hammer upgrades, we can have our attack seek the nearest foe and deal plus 10% damage. Small damage boost, so I think the primary benefit there is the seeking component. Foes targeted by your special move slower and take plus 30% damage. Or your special fires a spread of 5 bombs, but each deal less damage. I think that Cluster Bomb sounds like that is quite good.
This should work.
And it does that. Each individual one will deal less damage, but collectively, we're definitely dealing more. And so we can descend into Chaos. Let's just look at what the alternatives are here, and the alternative is to go into a key room. Chaos is definitely the way to go, right?
Going in.
So let's see what we find here.
The heart of the underworld.
And Chaos. Anything new with you?
Perhaps you ought to let them know the truth about your journey's goal. They are vain and think that it is them you seek.
That is potentially true, that, you know, they may think that we're actually out there to say hello, but it's really just, you want to get away from Dad and find our mom.
I'll never get out of here if not for their help, but I can't let them know about Mother. She wants to remain hidden from them.
A difficult position to be in, son of Hades. Even Vids may not appreciate leading this land, but you can trust that I shall keep your secret. I wish to see how your predicament plays out.
Thanks, I think. As for our options here, we have an epic boon. Next 4 encounters we take additional damage, however, afterward we do get an additional bloodstone. We did not try anything with our casts on this weapon. I believe they are the same as what our casts normally would be. So I'm not sure how special that is. Let's take a look at our other options here. Next 3 encounters, we face more foes, but after we get a bunch more coins. Or each time we cast, we take some damage, but afterwards gain some max HP. I'm actually leaning one of these 2 ways. And I think I'm going to go with the coins. Although I think you could make a case for any of these, honestly. Let's give this a shot. And we have the option of going Darkness, Keys, or Super Palms. Or rather, Super Nectar, I should say. Let's go for the Super Nectar. Because it does, functionally, work very similarly to a palm, and then we get the normal Nectar, yes, but also one of our skills upgraded at random. Oh, granted, do we have any boons? We do have the dash that will get upgraded, which maybe is not fantastic. You know what is fantastic, though? Is being able to hit absolutely everything on the screen simultaneously. So I'm all about that. Granted, this guy is just shooting those projectiles at us from all over the place. It's also less than ideal. Who is left? You. Stop that. So the Chaos boon that we took increases the number of enemies that we will face, so theoretically, we are experiencing that now. If you could come back, that would be preferable. Please do so. Thank you. And so yes, as we anticipated, the Blade Dash did get upgraded, and we did hear the sound effect for fish, which, again, you'll have to remind me where exactly we last left off. I have been playing Hades on stream, full disclosure, so on Twitch, I've been doing a fair amount of Hades runs, That has been on a separate save file, however, so this is the same save file that we have been playing on before. However, I have gotten a little more experience with things, including fishing. See how this goes. That is a fake splash. What we're looking for is... not that. Wrong one. This is... not that. This! Ooh.
Wow, a Skillascion.
Skillascion. I think that might be one of the rarer ones, so that is awesome for us to get that. Here we have a couple of options. We could go either Zeus, or we could go with the max life. We do only have a hammer upgrade, yes. But in terms of boons, because that's technically not a boon, we only have the Ares Dash, which is okay, but not fantastic. I'm just not, I don't know, not feeling the Zeus right now. So let's go with max life. We did pass up on the max life because that was one of the options we had from the Chaos boon. This is a new enemy that I have never seen before. It is a giant hand. What do you do? Chase after me. Yes. I assume you try to grab me or something like that. More of you. Does look like that's the case. I mean, part of me wants to deliberately get hit. Part of me wants to not get hit. Let's give it a shot, though. What do? You punch. And it looks like you might hold in place a little bit there. We do, of course, have the keepsake. This is making it so that we are invulnerable from taking damage for 1.5 seconds after getting hit, which probably is a reasonable counter against these guys. It takes away one of their strengths.
Okay.
But if we were not using that keepsake, then that might be a fair bit more relevant. That is one of their abilities. Also, we have range, which is a useful way to make sure that they can't attack us. Just barely. That probably will not. Now, this one should hit you several times over. That's really what we should be looking to do, at least against one enemy. If we're looking to spread it out, then we aim further away, spreads out where they all fall. If we put it directly on top of us, then we're going to be able to hit one guy with all the projectiles. As for mini boss with the key versus the shot, eventually we will be getting additional coins from that Chaos Boon. We still need one more room before that takes effect, though, so I feel like we might want to wait on the shops until we have that taking effect. I'll just take a quick peek to see if we're missing anything on the other side of the room. Doesn't look like we are, so let's move on here. And we'll pass on the shop for now. However, in the future, that will probably be something that we will want to make sure we are spending a lot of time at. And ideally, we would have these things explode not on us. That was close, though. Thank you for walking back into the blast radius there. You, however, did not get the memo. We're definitely not cooperating. So, I think for the most part, I want to be focusing on using our special here, which is this attack here, deal our damage, because I think when done correctly, it is our far and away strongest attack. However, that's not to say that we can't use our railgun more directly if we see a need, or even the blade drifts on the dash.
Chaos has been lifted.
And there is the Curse of Chaos taking effect, or evolving, really. We should start to get more coins now, which does mean that this room is looking a little bit appealing. Granted, can't pass on boons forever, but I think the goal here will be to make a point of getting as many coins as possible, and hopefully, if we make it to a shop, we will be able to take advantage of that and purchase several boons, things of that sort. This is a room that will have waves of enemies. So for that reason, let's try to take out as many of them as we can. Theoretically, we could opt to just dodge our way out of much of these fights, because there is a duration, as you can see, at the top left corner of the screen, at the end of which enemies will stop showing up, and we could take the easy way out that way. However, in doing so, we would pass up a bit on coin counts. So therefore, I do think we want to make sure that we're making a point. Taking out as many enemies as we can. There we have it. Can't say I was keeping track of exactly how many we got, but There's a good example of, originally we would have gotten 100 coins from that, however we got 165 because of the 65% increase from Chaos. Here is a life restoration trove. We're not on full life, so I think it is worth it. Yeah, Zacharias, I think you're right, we might as well. We may end up taking a little bit of damage along the way, but ultimately, we should more than compensate for that with what we get healed from all this. Here's another one of these new enemies. That was pretty quick.
Work faster next time.
There we go.
So certainly enough to get us to full HP. Oh, and I thought I might have heard a fish effect, possibly in the previous room. I may have accidentally walked past it. If so, I apologize. I don't think there was one in here, though. Here we have a new enemy.
Just great.
Doomstone? Oh, yeah, that's new. That's very new. Okay. That looks painful. Looks like you certainly shoot your laser beams, yes. As for how we determine where you are going to shoot your laser beams, I think it is it connected to all of these little stones? I think that's probably it. It's easier said than done, dodging out of the way of them. Can we take them out? Do they go away permanently if we do that? Do they come back? Hard to keep track of them. That's my theory, at least. Got your armor down. Could throw some casts at you, too. Not been doing much of that. As I was saying earlier, it wasn't really focus. Here we go. It's down. Took a lot of damage, but first time we've ever fought that guy before. Interesting fight.
Damned lost souls with nowhere left to turn congregate in deepest Tartarus, where they fuse together with the earth itself into odious forms which defy description.
I suppose that is one way to describe what we just encountered.
They basically turn into big crystals.
That too. Alright, Artemis, what do you have to say about that?
Well, look at you with Exogryph, the rail of adamant. Seems much too noisy complicated as a hunting weapon when you could just use a nice quiet bow, but hey, to each her own.
I suppose so.
Alright.
Oh, as for what Artemis has in store for us, we do have an epic pressure points, giving us some 4% crit chance across the board, regardless of what type of skill we're using. However, her Deadly Flourish is really good. And given how special is the focus of what we've been doing thus far, I think that is very difficult to pass up. Even if it is of lower rarity, I think that is generally a stronger boon to pick up. I'm looking forward to seeing just how much damage we can do with that now. And it's on to the gems room, where hopefully we get the opportunity to do just that. And, you know, absolutely destroy these guys, assuming we hit them. Yeah, like you, when you dash like that, do you make things a little bit trickier?
Anytime.
Who's next? You? And we can kind of anticipate where they're going to go, assuming that they are going to dash at us, such as this. Oh, and that actually makes things a fair bit easier. Okay, let's take a quick peek if there's anything else around here of note. I don't think so. Carrying on into the darkness room. And we have a spawner or two. Let's take care of those, first and foremost. More spawning, no less. Spawning, spawners. How meta is that? Already took care of that one. You get hit by this, you will, but not entirely. Did miss on some of the projectiles. That time, we should have known that you were going to dash away from that. That time, you could dash into it. So.
The gods. Now what?
Now, oh, and so this is a little bit tough. We can go coin room, which, as we know, will give us at least 165 coins from the end of the encounter, and some from the enemies we fight along the way. However, this is Sisyphus, who also has the option to give coins. And I'm thinking it might be worth paying a little visit to Sisyphus, because it's been a little while, buddy. So yeah, let's say hello.
That's who I think it is.
Hello, sir.
That it may be.
You know, I was just thinking, sir. Sometimes I am a little envious of you and Baldy there. You seem to have things pretty figured out. I still grow frustrated with myself quite often and don't always know whom to turn to.
At least they have each other.
Oh, well, I just think you're in a tough spot lately, Prince. But you'll get through. As for old Baldy, why, by all means, do not hesitate to lay your troubles on him if you like. Dumped all of mine on him a while back.
Oh, Baldy.
So I can just walk up and talk to him and chat? That's all it takes?
That's truly all it takes to make a friend sometimes, indeed, Highness. Now here.
No way. Wasn't I trying to talk to Baldy before? Hold on. Okay, so let's take the gold, like I was saying, the obols.
Easy does it.
Could be more than before. I was trying to talk to Baldy earlier, I swear, and we weren't able to do it, so...
Baldy?
Will it finally work this time?
Good to make your acquaintance. I know that friends are difficult to come by here in Tartarus, and so I'm grateful that you seem to be a trusty one.
Oh, look at the smile on his face.
Okay.
Who's a good boy? Oh, I hope he does. Okay. Anyways, onto the shop. And like I said, with now 600 obols in Tartarus, that's not often you find that. And here is one of the big things that got reworked with this update is, well, Heron, completely different. Previously had a placeholder appearance here, or it was just basically a cloaked figure. Now, he looks much more, well, gold and rich. Although I suppose he does not have much to say to us. And like I was saying before, with the amount of money that we have, we might as well go crazy here and sure, pick up a boon. Also a new effect there when you pick up the boons, that's cool. A little more dramatic.
You truly take me to the best of places.
Yes, this really is the best of places. And, so, Aphrodite's attack boon, I believe, is one of, if not the most offensive, or at least highest damage, of the attack boons. So in that way, it is appealing, and it also applies weak, meaning that enemies will deal less damage after we hit them. Aphrodite's aid is a little bit gimmicky, charming one of our enemies, but can be useful on occasion. Otherwise, when foes are slain, they damage nearby foes and inflict weak. Not going to be very helpful against bosses, say, when there's only going to be one, maybe a little bit more than one enemies. But I think more often than not, this might actually be something that we're going to want to have. And we might want to save up, wait around for a higher rarity attack boon or aid boon. It's a risk, because we don't necessarily know that that will end up happening, or that we'll like the boon that we get when that happens. Might come from Aphrodite, might come from someone else. But let's give that a shot. I'm willing to take that risk. And similarly, certainly have enough obols to purchase the max life, and why not throw in the key as well? No golden urns here, so let's go into our boss fight here, and I have no idea which one it's going to be. I'm going to say Fury Sister we will find will be Electo. Maybe. But it's Meg.
What? Where did you get the rail? Do you know what you have? Where are your customary weapons?
What, this isn't customary enough for you?
I left them at home, and I sort of know what I have, in as much as it's largely responsible for getting me this far. Would you like to see a demonstration?
Don't mind if I do.
Yes, I would. I always have, as a matter of fact.
Huh? What's that supposed to mean? Alright, similarly, expecting Meg to charge straight at us. Didn't quite hit on as many of those as I would have liked, but for the most part, I think that is a methodology that could prove quite useful for us. I mean, look at how much damage we dealt there already, and then combine that with a surprising amount of damage from the dashes, and that adds up very quickly. If you get hit by all those, that would be fantastic, but you don't think you did? Dash into all those, though, then we're talking. Okay, let's just get out of the way of her attacks. So there are additional enemies in this boss arena, of course. I was saying earlier how the Aphrodite boon that we chose to take was a little bit better for normal rooms and less so for boss arenas, but if we do find ourselves attacking some of these other people, then I suppose there is still a purpose to that. Ooh, that might have actually been the first time we got hit. I was gonna say, it would have been very cool. Not this time, though. Not a no damage run, unfortunately. Meg. Oh, she's sneaking up that attack there from off screen. Not cool, Meg. Not cool. And didn't quite hit her there. Come on. Get at me. Oh, okay. You can get a bunch of these on you while you're doing that. That might also be a good time. Very close to going down here. Ooh, except she's insisting on using this ability. And maybe we can sneak in another one of these. Should do the trick, I would think. There it is. Neck down. No big deal. Can confirm. The special. It's good. And because this is our first run on the railgun, that does mean that we are getting some Titan blood. That is certainly welcome as well. I don't think there's going to be anything else of note in here. Occasionally, I think you can get some golden urns, but there are so often so few urns in these boss rooms that that rarely ever happens. And this is a new indicator for the next floor. Previously, it used to have, what, the same indicator as, was it the same as Sisyphus and Eurydice in all the special rooms like that? Quite a bit. Actually did not get up to full HP there. A little alarming. Could opt to swap to a different keepsake. I think I am liking the Broken Spear Point, though, especially given now we have a relatively slow attack, or I should say more specifically special, given how that is our primary way of dealing damage at the moment. And it takes a while for them to drop down, to take enemies out. And the Well of Charon does have a few of the options we would normally see. However, Fateful Twist, instant, in a random item offered from the Well of Charon. Oh. So you take a little bit of a gamble. You don't know what you're going to get, but you'll get something. That's nifty. Let's give that a shot.
Here then.
And it is the Yarn of Ariadne, which, if I remember correctly, is the item that will give us increased rarity on our next boon. So, sure. I think that is usually more expensive than the 45 opals that we just paid. I think the yarn is typically around 70. If we wanted to, we could sell some boons. Now we don't have very many at this point in time. I don't think that's something that we ought to do. Let's instead head on up.
Just go on and check.
So that is... Oh! And the area lights up now when you go there? I believe it's also new. Lots of little subtle changes. But I like it. They add up, I think. Give the game just a little more feel to it. And I'm sure there are probably also going to be things where I'm just looking a little more closely and I'll say to myself, is that new? Has that always been here? In which case, it just makes you a little more appreciative of, in some cases, things that we already had. Get over it.
Ready for them.
I suppose probably should anticipate that they're going to spawn. Oh, I got right into that. And preemptively throw down the specials. There is a... So I thought these were hooves. Apparently this might be a skull. I don't know. I don't know. It looks like a horse hoof to me. But people were making a case that apparently there is also an eye on it, so maybe I'm wrong. Ooh, there is a trove here. It's for gems. We don't have that many of them. We have 38, which is something. That could be worth pursuing. Let's just take a quick look at what we have in terms of our next rooms. Athena, Palm. Sure, let's give the trove a shot first. Another instance where maybe we can preemptively drop that. Oh, maybe that was a little too preemptive. Here we go, like this, is what I mean. Ideally, take out several enemies quickly like that. Maybe make this a little bit easier on us. Granted, not really aiming these too much right now, kind of throwing them right in the middle of everything and hoping it lands on someone. Nope, we did get frozen there, so one of the Gorgons did manage to hit us. But overall, I think that was a fairly solid throw.
I'll take it.
And does give us
hang on to these.
47 more gems. As for Athena versus the Palm, I think given our general lack of boons at this stage, Athena is appealing to me. Let's head that way. And, okay. More of the little bombers. Unfortunately, it seems we can take out in one hit. Well, I should say, one round of specials, assuming we hit them with the vast majority of those. Get dashed out of the way before they landed. Unfortunate. You are just a little too mobile to make this easy. Fortunately, that time you didn't jump too far. Who's left? I don't know, but we'll hit you with that. Likewise here. Oh, I almost walked into that one. One more down. You might be the only one remaining. Which means you could just, like, stand still for a split second here. That's still enough, I suppose.
I see you've made it all the way to Hallowed Elysium, cousin. A significant way toward the surface, and if you could get there the one time, surely you have what it takes to do it again, and overcome the dangers that await therein.
Yeah, hopefully it works with the railgun this time. Give it a shot. So this is increased rarity, remember, because we did get the Yarn of Ariadne, a random roll that gave us the Yarn of Ariadne from that previous well. And what are we thinking we ought to do here? We have not been using much in the way of casts yet, partially because we don't have an upgraded cast, and our special is comparatively so good. But maybe we deliberately take the attack for that reason. Let's get the attack an upgrade here. If we happen to find ourselves with the option to get a really nice cast upgrade, then I wouldn't turn it down. Maybe in that case I would make more of a point of using the cast more aggressively, but at the moment, I am content with focusing primarily on the special. So, Darkness, Shop. We're looking at just under 300 obols. I'm a little surprised, actually, that it's not higher than that, given how many obols we had early, given how we do have the increased obol return from Chaos. So, I was expecting for us to get a little bit more and be able to buy a little bit more from the shop, but we'll just see how exactly the numbers line up here. And it looks like it shouldn't hold us back from taking, at the very least, the boon, plus the max life upgrade, and we can pass on the key. No big deal there.
Should be useful.
You hunted down a real bargain there in Charon's shop. Though, how about we try a slightly bigger deal on for size right now?
Go on. Oh, okay. You are giving us the option to swap our current Blade Rift dash for, which is of rarity, for an epic one from Artemis. Granted, I think of all the possible things to have epic rarity, or dash is probably not what I would have at the top of our list. Hunter's Mark we have not successfully taken yet, which is what that scroll indicator there means. So that is certainly tempting. However, support fire is also very good, especially when you have fast attacks, and it does seem like the railgun would be a good way to make that happen. At least with the attacks. On the special, on the other side of things, that's quite slow. So maybe for that reason, we ought to just go with Hunter's Mark here. Take what we haven't taken yet. And just doing a quick check for golden urns there, but we do still have enough coins.
Cheers, mate.
To buy the max life, so we'll do that too. And we will almost walk into the lava there and find ourselves with a mini-boss for Aphrodite. And it does look like the Barge of Death. That it is. We'll give this a shot here. Can be tough, however, I would hope, if enemies start showing up, that with a relatively small area over here, that might make for a pretty good combo for what we have on our spectrum. Granted, you are going to be the issue. Your animation is just a little bit different, a little more dramatic. The way that you're launching your attack, which I think is good. These guys, they're not my favorite enemy. I do think that the thing that bothers me about them is that they have a crazy amount of range with that attack. Like you see here, it can go basically the length of the entire room. So he can be very much off screen and still hit us, which just seems a little excessive to me at times. But I suppose giving him that additional, more dramatic animation is nice. So at the very least, when he is using the attack, it's a little more obvious.
Hi, Aphrodite.
But I suppose if he's still off screen, then you're not going to see that either way.
Stolen Artemis reached out to you, did she? Oh, that's adorable, dearest. Just don't make any sudden movements with her,
Oh, we'll make fun of Artemis. Okay, so here we do have a cast upgrade. It is a short-range blast that inflicts weak. Now, I'm not a huge fan of this whole short-range business. Even though this is a scroll, a boon that we have not yet taken, I do kind of feel like I would like to go a different route. And I think maybe either the call, which we saw earlier with normal rarity, and we were saying we might want to deliberately wait until we got one with higher rarity, and it's at least one tier higher in this case. Different League is also tempting, though. Resisting damage from nearby foes' attacks. That might be good if we are deliberately trying to drop the special directly on top of us to get as much overlap as possible, and we're waiting for them to fall and hit our enemies, then we might find ourselves in close combat relatively frequently. So let's give that a shot. I hope you feel fabulous in the process. Okay.
Ready for me?
So, let's say hello to these guys with a little bit of our specials. And if we do manage to land all of them, I do still think we can take people down in one set. Well, maybe not. These are technically... I just stood directly in front of that. Mini-boss characters. They do have armor plus life bars. I do still think we were able to take those guys out in one round back in Tartarus. But I think we did get one go down in one fell swoop. And you see that green mark around him is the Artemis boon that we recently picked up, which means that if and when that mark is on those people, they have a significantly higher chance of us getting a crit against them. And I think that is the difference here, is that when we do manage to get a crit, we are taking them out in one round of specials, whereas when we aren't, we are not. Or, you know, they dash away and only get hit by a couple of them. There we go. And again, more coins than usual here. That is nice, and a little well. Nothing new here, however, that doesn't mean that there isn't anything that we might want to get, because a little bit of life essence would top us off. Would be nice, however, maybe a little bit unnecessary at this stage. Darkness, also never bad per se, but maybe the Arna Ariadne, again, to improve our future boons, does sound intriguing to me. And we're looking at max life, palm. Let's just see if there's anything else in here, because I feel like I was a little distracted as we were going through and may have missed something. No, not seeing anything. But I'm leaning for the heart in this case. Pick up some more max life. Seems like that could be a good option. And that is new. What the heck are you? You duck underground and shoot projectiles that appear to home, or at least circle around a little bit. Is that actually homing in entirety, or am I making that up? Definitely homing at least a little bit. Like, not so much so that it'll completely double back on itself, hit us, which is fortunate for us, but still alarming. And remember, we did pick up the attack boon, which allows us to deflect with our attacks, so we could actually shoot these projectiles back at our opponents like that. We felt so inclined. You ideally want to get a little bit closer to you. Do that. Hit you with multiple at once, and there is a chaos portal over there. So we may be looking at descending into the realm of chaos soon. Bear that in mind, and ideally that would mean that we'd have a fair bit of HP when we try to do that. Otherwise, the damage that we take when going into the realm of chaos might be a little more than we're willing to bear. play that by ear a bit. There you see the green circle again does mean higher crit chance. And actually went on the other one of those guys there. One we were not currently attacking. No problem though. Gone now. And those guys are ducked under the ground. How exactly do we know where they're coming? Because, find them over here, then they show up over there. Who knows?
That's a relief.
Maybe there's a way to figure it out, but I certainly don't know yet. So here's the Realm of Chaos. Let's just see what the alternatives are. Shop. Hermes. We did spend a fair amount recently, and therefore we actually are not at the 200 coin threshold, which is significant because the most expensive thing, at least the single most expensive thing, that you can buy from a shop, unless this has changed with this update, was the hammer, which costs 200 obols. At this rate, we would not be able to afford that. So that feels like that would be a bit of a letdown if that was available, and yet we were not able to purchase it. So let's go for Chaos here. It is, of course, a risk, because we will take 25 damage going down here, and whatever negative effect we get from this Chaos boon, and it'll take effect for usually 3 to 4 encounters, and that may be long enough to last until the boss fight, in which case we could be in trouble. We'll have to see what we have. So, your dash has less range, but afterwards our boons have increased rarity. Not sure if I remember seeing Chaos boons that give dash less range. That might be new, or maybe I've just never seen that before. Maybe my memory is betraying me here. Next 5 chambers, your chamber reward previews are hidden. Okay. Afterward, you deal a ton of extra damage, striking foes from behind. That I am positive, at least the positive side effect, is new. Granted, I don't know how valuable that's going to be for us when our primary source of damage is our special. So, as interesting as that may be, I don't think it necessarily fits for what we're currently doing. Next 4 encounters, slain foes toss an Inferno Bomb at you, but afterward we get a Bloodstone. Again, we're not really using casts either. So I think this appeals to me the most. And it'll be interesting to see just how noticeable and how significant that reduced dash distance proves to be. I can kind of feel it. And I wonder in Asphodel how significant that will be when we're trying to dash across the pits of lava. Because that could be significant there, and as anticipated, this is the room before the boss fight, so we will certainly have the negative effect for this boss fight, and it is a shop, which does mean that, well, we only have enough coins at the moment to purchase one of these 2 boons. So take your pick. I think oh, and remember, as well, I believe we still have the Art of Ariadne, or maybe that is already, maybe we've already used that, it seems. In that case, this will not be guaranteed to be higher rarity. I mean, it could still be, but I'm still leaning Hermes.
You're well familiar with my professional associate there with the boat. Source of the recently departed gotta make it over to the underworld somehow. Part of my job. I bring them in, he takes them down.
Alright. I suppose they do have a bit of a partnership there. So we could dash one more time in a row. That could potentially be a way to counter the Chaos Boon that we just took. Special is faster. That's really hard to turn down, given how, like I was saying, special is first and foremost the way we're dealing much of our damage. Movement speed, not bad. However, I think it would take something pretty great to pass that up.
Moving right along.
Let's see if we can notice the difference there.
No urns permitted in this chamber.
That's true too. Take out all the urns. Alright. Let's move on. The Hydra. What? This looks a little different.
You look different.
This is true. What's the deal here? Are you actually different? Mechanically? Or you just look different? That is definitely different. What the heck is this? There's a timer on that thing. It spawns a new type of enemy, actually. I don't recognize that attack pattern. Huh. Okay, I'm intrigued. So you do still thrash, but you do this as well. You can these projectiles out that spawn equals. Hold. At least that Hydra head is definitely new as well. I momentarily think I actually got stuck in that pillar there. that gonna hit you? It is. I am curious what that guy does. There are two of them, actually. You have the Hunter's Mark, so it will crit you more easily. That is nice to see. Man, those little guys that they spawn, they have quite the attack combo. What do? You slam, yes. Is that it? There have been Hydra heads that have slammed in the past. So are you just a new visual appearance on that Hydra, or are you functionally new? That's the case in there. I thought that we had already avoided that enemy's attacks, and yet came back and decided to, well, hit us. We just barely missed destroying that before it hatched. Is that a hoop as well? Never used to see those in here. If those are now a thing, then that is concerning. It appears surprisingly difficult to get rid of those spawners preemptively. Man, we are taking our fair share of damage in here as well. And it's not helping dashing into those attacks. Sure, you don't need me to tell you that. Granted, if we could say, yeah, start getting rid of some heads, that might make things a little bit easier on us. However, I would appreciate if the heads would stop dodging us. We are a tad slow, still, even after the speed boost. Yeah, let's just shoot that one down. That might be enough to take you out. It was, I do believe. That's not going to be quick enough to take you out, though. Spawner. Be mindful of those guys. Like I said, they're a lot trickier than I expected them to be. And the blade dash. It's no joke. Don't forget about it. There is something to it. Like I said, we are taking a fair share of damage. I would love to not have to use Death Defiance here. That feels like it would be a tad wasted on the Hydra fight, but it is a new Hydra fight at that. So I suppose there's something to that. Now it should be just the Hydra again. Who is back to spawning friends, I think. So is this a special Hydra? Or is this just the new Hydra that we will encounter every time? I don't know. I'm curious to see. That definitely is a hoof. A new hoof. As anticipated, as feared. Does mean we need to stay mobile here. Will that be enough to take you out? It is. Just barely avoided having to use Death Defiance there.
Enough.
And that is a diamond for us.
I'll just tuck that away.
So you like to see that. We'll head up to Elysium and get some healing. Much needed at this point in time.
No paradise awaits you, boy.
And I think we will stick with our current keepsake. Ooh. Life Essence, I was going to say, is something we might want to keep an eye out for because we're low on HP. Stygian Shard is new. Passive. Traps deal plus 500% damage to your foes. A way to potentially do more of a targeted run in which you are deliberately trying to have traps be one of your primary sources of damage. Nifty. Not necessarily sure how effective that's going to be, but let's give it a shot at the very least. It's not too expensive. Lasts for 6 rooms as well, so we'll have a bit of time. See if we can put it to use.
Get me out of here. Got it.
Other than that, up to Elysium we go. And we do still have the Chaos Moon, which I've already forgotten what it's all about. We have the reduced dash range. Maybe that was a bit of a side effect as well that we were experiencing in that Hydra fight. We might have been just kind of used to dashing a certain distance, and subconsciously that's what I was assuming we would do, and well, it didn't end up happening, and therefore got hit by some things we would normally be able to dash away from. Anyways, we'll get that Chaos Moon evolved relatively soon. But first off, we have the question of keys versus darkness, and I'm thinking keys. Let's give this a shot.
Alright, who's next?
I was gonna say, where are the enemies? want to say, yup, do that, following directly behind me, and that might be helpful. These guys might be a little bit tricky to take out with the special, given how they do respawn if we give them enough time to do so. And the special is on the slow side, as I was saying before. Where did you respawn? Now remember, like we were saying before, traps do deal significantly more damage. Unfortunately, that enemy did just block the trap, so much for that attempt. This time, does get it done, though. Yeah, see, like, this is what I mean, is if we are relying exclusively on our attacks to take those eyes out, then it's going to be a little tricky, especially if we find ourselves needing to reload right as it's about to respawn, then that might mean it has enough time to do just that. Okay, and here we have hammer or palm. Definitely prefer the hammer. Let me just see if I missed anything in here. This is a pretty large room. I don't see anything, so let's get going. Hammer it up, because it is hammer time. Oh, they agree. Oh, that's not going to hit anyone. However, this hopefully will. And that trap might as well. Except, hopefully not us. I hit one of you. One of you should be, yes. An eyeball now. Two of you. At this rate. Okay, there's another down. Two down. Okay, this is going to be a bit of an issue. Will they land in time? They will. Okay, that was fortunate. Both have this explode on somebody. That it did. You also have the mark on you. You didn't explode. I actually don't know where the eyeball went. Did we get it? Did we not get it? I think it's gone. Archer guy's trying to take us out here. He's still an eyeball here and an eyeball there. That's enough of that from you. Okay. Not too bad, and we do get our hammer. And a Chaos Boon evolved. Attack is a 3-round burst. Never reload. That might be a bit of a way to counter that potential risk I was talking about earlier. However, special becomes a rocket that deals 80 base damage. Does that override this other special hammer upgrade that we've gotten? I am not sure. Part of me wants to see if that works, because maybe that turns into something amazing. But if it overwrites it, then probably not. Granted, there aren't many things that outright overwrite other skills, other than a boon swap, in which case it's pretty clear when it says on the boon screen that you are swapping. So I'm tempted in that case to give this a shot. Otherwise, your attack deals damage in an area and briefly slows foes. Might also be a little bit useful to slow people down, give ourselves enough time to land the special, because it does have that delay before it lands. Let's give this a shot. And this is either a very good decision or a terrible decision, and I'm hoping that's a good one. Definitely very different. It is still shooting 5 projectiles, or however many it is. I think 5, yes. But no more delay. Oh, and I almost missed.
Let's see here.
You have a reasonable amount of coins at this point. We could heal up, get ourselves close to full, not quite, but that seems like a decent option here. And then, yes, if we do pick up the Trove Tracker, we would still have enough to get a hammer upgrade, even if we were to go almost immediately into another shop. But I'm feeling like at this stage we might want to start to stockpile a little bit more. Well, actually, there's a shop right now. So if there are multiple things at the shop, then we definitely want to have more. So, oh, golden earth. Don't think I didn't see that. Okay. Here we have a boon. Gems. Actually, I think gems are new. You were not able to purchase those in the shops before. So 75 obols, which is... I'm not sure if there even was anything that cost 75 obols previously. It's a little bit of a middle ground that we previously did not see. It's 20 gems, which is a somewhat significant amount. And what is this? Huh. It's a palm, but it's a palm in which you can't choose what gets upgraded? Is that what that is? A slice of palm, if you will? That's nifty, and I like how it's just 50 obols, so if you do find yourself going into a shop and you don't have a lot of obols, then there is still a chance you might be able to afford something that might prove a little bit useful. Now, granted, I think we gotta go with Artemis, right? Oh, and we have a duo boon, no less. After you deflect, briefly gain plus 20% chance to deal critical damage. We do deflect with our normal attacks, so if we are using normal attacks and then use the special soon thereafter, that sounds like that is a pretty awesome combo. Epic True Shot, the cast. I think that is another really good cast, Artemis's cast. But it's the duo boon, right? And we haven't taken this one yet. It has the scroll, so gotta go for that, right? So the combo will be shoot a little bit. Not the cast, though. Shoot a little bit, and then that. And I'm tempted to give this a shot here. We could afford both of these things. Let's just take a quick peek at what the next room is. It's either mini-boss Ares or a heart. Okay, so it's not like we're about to go from one shop directly into another. Pretty sure that can't happen, but either way, let's try this out. Deadly Flourish, which is the special, is it not? Deadly Flourish got +1 level, so we'll have additional damage on the special. That is fantastic. Probably the best we could have gotten out of that. So it is random, confirmed. And Charon does not have anything to say to us. Sad face. Let's go with the heart here. We're at 200 HP, which is pretty solid. I think going above and beyond that will be even better. Yeah, wow. This seems really good. Like, really good. It's fast, unlike our previous special. It deals extra damage, even more than before, because we upgraded it. And it has crit chance. And one thing I don't have a great sense for yet is how much of a quote-unquote cooldown is there. It's not actually a cooldown, but given our attack speed or lack thereof, someone is respawning right now, and I don't see anything. Granted, shouldn't be too bad. Could even deliberately try to have one of the traps destroy you, but maybe that's unnecessary.
Nice.
Ooh. I do have to get used to, though, the slightly different setup on this special. It's no longer the delay that I'm anticipating. It just goes off immediately. Oh, where the heck did you come from? I did not see you earlier. Okay. Not bad. Could go into another heart room. So, I mean, apparently it is possible to go same room, one right after the other. Maybe not shops. It is possible even with shops. The other room was Patroclus, though, and it's very hard to pass up. Just taking a peek here to see if there's anything else. So as tempting as that may be to go heart after heart, we gotta pay Patroclus a visit, right? Can't say no to that. He even has gold urns. Hey, man. How you doing?
What is it this time, stranger? You're quite effective at locating me, but not so good at leaving me in peace.
Sorry.
Just on one of my little jaunts through paradise is all, sir. Happened to be on the way toward my destination.
And you do also tend to give us very helpful things.
You think this place a paradise? At least down in the depths, there are so many other souls with whom to share one's misery. No offense. I know that you're just passing through.
I suppose he's not trying to take shots at us, but still. Okay, so we can restore all of our Death Defiances. Fortunately, we avoided having to use one in the Hydra fight, so we don't need that at all yet. And we could get a pretty sizable attack damage increase. We did pick up an attack boon a little ways back, but for the most part, we are relying first and foremost on our special, so although that would do something for us, it wouldn't be amazing. And then we have Hydrolite Gold, which is giving us a ton of life whenever we enter a new chamber. We're doing pretty well from a life standpoint, but that might actually be the safest route for us, because I think this does nothing. This does a little bit. This, at the moment, doesn't do a ton for us, but it gives us a bit of a safety net, so let's give that a shot. Go for the healing. And if we really want to, we can pick up even more life. Otherwise, we would be passing up on some Athena boons there. Oh, I spawned directly on top of us. What? This room actually looks like it is ideal for that extra trap damage on enemies that we picked up a ways back, because of how many traps there are to blow up on people. And ideally, not ourselves. This does seem like it is perhaps one of the few safe locations over here. Oh. There we go. Not bad. Not bad at all.
Stronger.
And now, gems or keys. Either way. It's like we're talking a mini-boss. I think we're pretty low on keys. We do heal up all the way. Oh, okay. Just some armored enemies. Nothing too crazy here. Nothing we can't just absolutely annihilate with our special. And yes, that additional trap damage, I think, was relevant there. Honestly, hard to tell, because everything was blown up. But mostly, our enemies. Could purge a boon here, if that is of interest, and that certainly is not. Nor do I think the other ones are, so let's pass on that for the time being. We're doing okay from a coin standpoint. Not amazing. If we were to go straight into a full shop, then we would not be able to afford a hammer upgrade, which is typically my threshold for gauging how we're doing from a coin standpoint, but we're doing okay. We're close to that. And we get even more life. Granted, we're going to reach max as soon as we step into the next room, so it's not really a concern. We could pick up some additional cast damage. Is that always 50% increased cast damage? I feel like that might have gone up. Could very well be wrong about that, but tinge of Erebus, a little bit of darkness is also not bad. But like I was saying before, I think I'd like to get a little bit more coins before we start spending much. And here, is this not the same question we were asking ourselves before? Or very similar question we were asking ourselves before? I think that the answer remains keys. I think we remain fairly low on them. Dude, unfortunately, not the best of beginnings there in this room. If we can manage to hit these guys from behind with a crit, that would be great. Somehow that guy blocked it, even though it looked like we were attacking from behind there. Oh, said, don't come back. That is important. I suppose the cast is also a good way to finish enemies off. It's not something that we've been doing much of, but when I was talking earlier about that concern about, well, what if we have to reload? Oh, what if we miss all of our casts as well? What if we have to reload when the enemies are trying to respawn? Then we might be in trouble. Well, butterfly dudes, apparently not an issue at all, it would seem. Ooh, that had enough air to hit us. I'm surprised. Still, we land our hits. Not bad at all. Here's a trove here. For gems, let's just take a look at what our other options are here. You have a shop. We have reached that 200 coin threshold, so that is good. Hermes as well. I think we're doing well enough. But I'm okay with this.
Champions of Elysium, now prove yourselves.
Of course, the hope here being that we won't take too much damage, but should also be able to heal up a bit before we go into the next room, or in the process of going up to the next room. And, well,
that's enough.
Didn't hit it all.
Mine now.
The special. It's working. It's working. As for best room here, this is actually kind of tough. because Hermes boons do tend to be quite good. And if we don't take the shop here, then that does mean that I assume we're fairly late on in Elysium at this point, or at least halfway. We're getting somewhat close to the Styx shop, in which we'll have a quote-unquote super shop and be able to purchase either more expensive, more powerful versions of the upgrades that would typically be available at shops, or just have more options to choose from. So it is nice to go into Styx with a lot of coins for that reason. And so I'm a little hesitant to spend much at this stage. Let's go for Hermes instead. We'll save up those coins for Styx. Oh, and it is, in fact, the last room for the boss fight. No enemies in here for that reason.
It says here, hurry up and get out of there already. It's from the surface of the Earth. It says so right here.
Oh. Look at this. A new boon. Each time you enter a chamber, gain a bit of wealth. I think this might be new. Bonus wealth per chamber, plus 16. I would imagine that this is far better earlier on in a run, and unfortunately, it's, you know, we're approaching the last floor, but we haven't got it yet, and it is epic rarity, so I'm still, and we were talking earlier about wanting to get coins, so I'm very tempted to give it a shot.
Swift as Hermes.
Oh, and a fishing location as well. Yeah, the double dash would probably have been my other option there that I would have normally chosen. Particularly helpful for this upcoming fight, but gotta try something new here. That is definitely not where the fish is, where you're pointing your rod at the moment, but okay. We'll give it a shot, no less. Come on, real fish, there it is. Oh! Also think that might be a good one. Any gold urns here? There aren't any more, I can tell you that much. And let's see how our good old friends Theseus and Asterius like this setup.
Upon my word, the fiend again darkens these halls. Alas, Asterius, it seems I was mistaken and he hasn't learned his lesson after all.
Oh?
And what's this lesson that I ought to have learned? Is it to always slay you first since you're so damn insufferable all the time?
Oh, I wonder, did we actually, in our previous fight, die to Theseus? And maybe we took down Asterius first? Oh, man, game has better memory than I do.
Is to never, ever take up arms against those favored by the gods themselves. You shall never see the light of day as I once did. No offense, Asterius.
Oh. Ouch. Alright, here goes nothing. Did get our little bit of coins there. I am curious to see how this setup works against these two. I think Asterius will remain the one that I try to target, first and foremost. Typically, that is what I ought to do. Granted, I should be a little more mindful when he's jumping at us. Oh, and he is on half HP already. That is a very good sign. That would suggest that we are dealing the damages pretty quick, and I've stood right in that. And potentially that as well. Damage is great. My positioning, perhaps a little suspect. Okay, he's charging up a charge. Oh, he did actually hit us with the follow-up. That is interesting. Did get, yep. Target. Allowed us to crit Asterius that time. Oh, was on Achilles, or rather, I should say Theseus, ever so briefly. Sorry, Achilles. You're so much cooler than this guy right here. Try to, yep, get bloodstones in him. I believe we have the skill at the moment that gives us additional damage when our enemies have the bloodstones. So if and when that is possible, that's probably something we ought to try to do. He is about to get mad, though. Not where I want to be standing right now. Oh, ignores this. I think if we can get in cast plus a special, and that is certainly a decent amount of damage for any given round of attacks like this. He does his spear throw once, then he turns back. He's close to going down here. Ooh, if we landed one more there, that might have been it. That positioning. There it is. Even with that, that still might have been the least damage I've taken from those guys. Ever? Take the ambrosia, and also,
have I got a fan?
You'll notice all these Asterias, banners, and whatnot, Theseus, got this little red shade, the tiny little Zagreus banner. Thank you, Shade. And up we go. So I had some questions as to how effective we would be with a railgun, but so far, things are going quite well, dare I say. Now, going into Styx, do we feel like we would like to swap over to any other keepsake? I think the Broken Spear Point has been working wonders for us thus far, so we ought to keep it, in my mind. This is also new. Nemesis Crest. You deal plus 50% damage when striking foes from behind. Oh, did we saw something else that gave something like this. Was it a Chaos Spoon? Maybe it was something from the well. But it is definitely new to this update. Lasts for 6 encounters, and then Yarn of Ariadne gives the increased rarity on the next spoon. I would love if this lasted long enough for us to be able to carry it into the final boss fight, but I don't think that's going to be the case, which is unfortunate. If we do find another one of these later on, then I think we'll absolutely pick it up. At the moment, though, I'm taking a look at our coin count, and if we were to, say, purchase the Yarn of Ariadne, then we'd be only just above 200, and so I don't really think we want to get them both just yet. I'm going to go with the Yarn, because that is the upgrade that we get, is permanent. Once we pick up that upgraded rarity boon, then we have that for the rest of the run, whereas the other upgrade that we saw from the well, the new one, only lasts for, what was it, 6 chambers? And we'll see if we can happen across any other gold in here. There's a hidden gold in there. I'm sure I would have seen it if I hadn't just blown up everything. And again, getting the additional coins every time we enter a room. Is not bad. And what is this? Swap. Does that mean get rid of the hammer upgrade that we currently have to get 2 new random ones? I think that's what that means. It's like an improved hammer upgrade. However, I think our hammer upgrades right now are amazing. But even if we're getting 2, I don't think we want to do that. If anything, in that case, I think we'd want to focus on purchasing some of the either Artemis, Ares, Athena boons. Not sure that we're going to be able to afford the Titan blood, but let's also, before I forget, fish here. Fishing time indeed.
I know you're out there, fish.
Come on. Here somewhere. I know you are. Maybe? Possibly? There it is. Ooh, I was a little slow that time, but we did still get it. Look up. Okay. And as for rooms, let's see. We have life, points, Athena, mini-boss Ares, mini-boss Palm. I think, generally speaking, I prefer to avoid the mini-bosses until the end. Basically, only do them if we determine that we absolutely need to, or if there's a very obvious reason why getting that specific reward would be very helpful to us. So at the moment, I think what I would like to do is perhaps purchase, let's go with, we're thinking cast or call. I don't know, let's try Ares.
I'll take it. Your coachman there is a reliable deliverer of death, it seems. And that makes 3 of us, I think.
Oh. Blood Frenzy. Epic. Have I seen this before? After using Death Defiance, Deal more damage that encounter. Huh. That's nifty. So Ares Aid, I think, is one of my favorite aids, so I do really like that one. Get rarity as well is not bad, and this is the boon that we use the Yarn of Ariadne for, so this has guaranteed increased rarity. But this is really nifty, because, I mean, we're anticipating that we're gonna probably use at least one Death Defiance in the final fight, right? In which case, I assume that this probably stacks. You use one Death Defiance, you get plus 20% damage. You use two Death Defiances, you're up to 40. Use all three, you're up to 60. That's a pretty huge damage increase. Applies, seems, across the board to attacks, special. If we do ultimately get an aid, then the aid. So I think we give this a shot, because that seems pretty unique. And we're close to being able to afford this Artemis boon here, or a little further. Yeah, fair ways further away from the Athena boon, but we'll see if we can get there. And also, it was, like I said before, perhaps a little bit unlikely for us to ultimately choose to go down the Ares route, given how that is a mini-boss route. But let's go with the coins now, because that will potentially give us more options in the future. And let's just, you know, take cover for a bit here. And I believe that these will count as separate chambers, all these sub-rooms here. Let's see if we get 16 coins upon entering this spot. We did! Uh-oh. I hate the satyrs. These are my least favorite enemies in this floor. And ones with armor, even worse. So the rats might actually be one of the tougher enemies for us because they are quick. Fortunately, we were able to get them done and dusted before they actually did make it to us. But I'm not necessarily sure we're going to be able to do that consistently. It was kind of fortunate timing with when they were spawning. It was just in time for us to hit them. It might not always be the case if we get swarmed. Here is the final room along this room. So no satyr sack here. We did not instantly happen to choose the right direction. Which, you know, pretty low percentage chance of that happening, but you never know. Alright, who is next? Somebody. You, theoretically. Did hit us. It is unfortunate. But should be able to take it out. Another wave, though. We aren't done yet. I thought I might have seen a satyr there. I did. I did. Right, at least one taken out. There's another, though. Okay. Not so bad. Not so bad at all, actually. Did get some additional coins from this room, of course. And we're all the way up to 600 already.
Down the chute.
With all those various forms of coin generation. Maybe the Titan blood is not out of the question, truth be told. However, I think that should be secondary, and I suppose if we are to get Athena here, then in all likelihood that will make the Titan blood out of the question, but let's focus on that first and foremost.
We cannot effectively communicate with Charon from Olympus, but he is amenable to certain trades and seems unfettered by your father's influence.
Okay. Phalanx shot, epic rarity. Your cast damages foes in a small area and can deflect. Like I said, not super thrilled about focusing on our casts at the moment when special and basically almost special exclusively, but to a lesser extent, I guess, attacks have been what we've been trying to do most. Abilities that deflect also make foes exposed. Our normal attack does deflect. So that means with our normal attack, we could also make victims take more damage when struck from behind, 63%. That is pretty humongous. We have not ever taken Brilliant Riposte before. When you deflect attacks, it deals more damage. So, again, having the deflect on our normal attack does mean that we have pretty easy access to that. 105% damage. That is a pretty humongous number. I think maybe let's give that a shot then. I think you could make a case for either of these, but It is also a scroll. We've never taken it before, so for that reason,
Athena's power.
that can be our tiebreaker. Can afford to get Artemis already. That might actually be the... Well, should be able to afford the bomb at the end of all this as well, I would think. Let's give this a shot now, though.
If you're quite done with shopping, Zagreus, what say we cut straight to the chase from here?
Okay. Ooh. Okay, a few scroll options, things we have not yet taken. We have True Shot. I think we saw this earlier. The cast ability that I was saying is very strong, and epic rarity is certainly not bad either. However, it is a cast, which is... I mean, this would be a great way to make the cast relevant, but at the moment, not terribly relevant. Your critical effects deal even more damage to armor. I'm not sure we're going to find too many well, we'll find some armored enemies. At least in these intermediary sections here, but at least the final boss fight, not going to be much of that. Critical effects deal even more damage, and that's epic, and we've not taken this before. I think we do have crit on our special, and our special is our primary source of damage, so I think that is the obvious choice there. So, strong pickup in that case, I think. And as for our next priority here, I think we go for Athena, and we don't yet have an aid. We did obviously pass up on several. Athena's aid is... I have mixed feelings about it. It's the one that makes it so that we deflect damage, which I suppose we do have a synergy of sorts with that. Ooh, let's take a look here. Unfortunately, we do see the Nemesis Crest, which was the thing that we were looking at earlier, thinking we might want to pick up. However, we can't afford it. This is new as well, though. Aerospangled passives, you deal 50% damage, striking undamaged foes. That also seems really good. And at this stage, there's what? The Palm? The Super Palm for 300 obols in the shop back in the main room. But I think that might be the only thing that we want / could reasonably afford, because there's also the hammer, the double hammer upgrade, but we don't really want to mess with our hammer upgrades right now. And the Titan Blood, but we're probably not going to be able to afford that. So, I think, yeah, let's go for this. Hydrolite could even make a case for that. Just cover ourselves defensively, give ourselves enough life, even if we do get hit a bit in here. But it's easy, just don't get hit. And that extra damage against undamaged foes should hopefully mean we might be in one-shot territory. Not these rats, apparently. They're a little too strong. But several other enemies, I would hope, were there or close to being there. And
another Satyr sack
is the final room. At least the final room we have to do. Did get some coins there from those gold nerds. Granted, it's not 150, it is 300 that we need for the Super Palm. Is that worth it for us to stick around for that? Oh, look at what we have here. Legendary, and I think that little effect is new as well. The legendary boons, that's cool to make it feel a little more dramatic as well. That seems like that's sort of the theme here, is the big stuff feels bigger. You have a barrier that negates an instance of damage. Barrier refresh? 20 seconds? Wait, so you don't take damage once, and then it takes 20 seconds and it comes back? That sounds sublime for a boss fight, in which, theoretically, if you're doing reasonably well, you should only be getting hit every so often. However, when you do get hit, you take a lot of damage. That seems like that is the perfect match for that. Not to mention, we haven't taken this ability yet. There is the scroll, so is there any question?
The backup.
Certainly. And also, if we were
What's in this
to
stuff?
go into the boss fight now, that would mean that we would have the Aerospangle still in effect, that increased damage, striking undamaged foes. For the boss himself, not going to be a huge difference. You actually see the bubble as well.
Let's
that is
just go down this
helpful to know if and when that is active.
Before I leave. Look at all this.
So, like I said, probably don't want this, probably can't afford this. Main question would be, do we want to stick around, do an additional chamber or two to get enough coins for this. I'm not sure it's really relevant. Or at least not relevant enough. I mean, yes, if we were able to, say, upgrade Deadly Flourish with a double upgrade, which would be the case for this bomb, then that would be amazing. But that's not guaranteed that that would be one of our options. And in order for that to happen, we would need to go down at least one, likely two, more rooms. And for just the heart, that's not so bad, because this is not a mini-boss room. However, the mini-bosses in the Temple of Styx, they're no joke. You're definitely at risk of taking your fair share of damage, and I do like how we are currently sitting on full HP right now. So I feel like we have a very good chance, dare I say, if we go in now. Not to say that there isn't a potential benefit for sticking around and doing another room or two, but I think this is still our best chance going in now.
Compels the multi-headed hound to let him pass.
I can go.
Go. Servers go. Anyways. Onward and upward. And to the surface we go. Field and all.
I guess there's only one thing left to do. Isn't that so, Father?
I must admit to something, boy. Achilles taught you reasonably well.
Oh!
I expected that if anyone could train you into martial competence, it would be him.
So did you set Achilles up with us to be our trainer? That would seem a little bit odd. I mean, given how you kind of hate us and maybe anticipated that we would try to do something like this, I would think that you would try to discourage such a partnership.
Though you didn't expect that one day I would end up using everything I learned from him against you.
Exactly.
I anticipate more than you know. But Achilles merely practiced against mortals. Now you practice against me.
Alright. Enough talk, old man. Let's see what you're made of. That might be something that we want to try to deflect back at him. Like that. Actually, not sure if we can hit him. We can give it a shot. Look out. Oh, no. Not going to deflect from that angle, though. Did manage to blow those up before they exploded on us. That is nice. And I don't think we're getting him get hit with... Well, on occasion we are hitting him with multiple of our specials. That would, of course, be ideal, if that were the case, but only on occasion. Let's not get hit by this. Avoid it.
Wretches of the underworld.
Okay. Oh, what? Spawning directly on top of me? Not cool. So yeah, some of his friends can, of course, spawn with shields. So that certainly could be a thing, and we were talking earlier about this. I did not have in there. That could have been an instance where it might have been helpful to have the boon that would have given us additional damage to armored foes. But I think that was neat enough of a scenario to not be terribly significant. Ooh, I did not even see that there's one of those guys over there. There is another one. Probably about to hit us. Or at least try to. Excuse me? Did not take any damage. Definitely hit you with that. You also have the Blade Rip on our dash, which has been a bit of an afterthought. But that's honestly kind of what I like about it, is that you don't need to think about it too much. It'll just, on occasion, deal some damage for you. Now, can we actually take that guy out? No, we didn't. Nope, that we did not know. Where'd you go, Dad? There are your footsteps. Ooh, did manage to hit us that time. I suppose one thing is that our keepsake and the legendary boon that we got, they do overlap a little bit. The legendary boon does kind of make the keepsake not terribly significant.
Not finished then.
There we go. There's the first phase without having to use the Death Defiance.
What choice does that leave me?
Remember that we do get the additional damage boost after we use a Death Defiance, so there is still that. I don't think that actually landed, unfortunately. Thanks. Up there. Are you using your special attack? You're using this. Which we do, theoretically at least, have a decent way of getting rid of. That I should have seen coming. This is what we need to dodge. Can I still hit you? I can. That's convenient. Get rid of that. And soon thereafter, get all these to show up. Oh, somehow we did not hit there. Don't ask me how. I do not know. Oop. And go for those. And you're gonna do your spinning attack. By spinning attack, I mean laser beam attack. Still can't deal damage like that, unfortunately. That's the spinning attack. Are you doing it again? You're doing this. Oh, I think I blew that up on myself. Very well may have. He is marked. Theoretically, we are dealing additional damage to him. Can we blow him up? Not from this angle. Can I get that down? No, I cannot. Alright, Dad, how you doing? Looks like you're... oh, doing this. Okay. Wasn't sure if you're going laser beam. Now you are. That was close. Let's get these back. I got hit there. Can he actually get stunned by his own skills here? His urns? I don't know, but either way, he is down.
No matter how many times you beat me, we're family. There's no escaping that.
Huh. I suppose that's an interesting way of putting it. Interesting parallel between escaping the underworld and escaping family. I mean, we are also trying to get back to our family in the form of our mother.
My strength fails.
But yeah, as we were seeing before, it seems like this combo with the hammer upgrades, with the cluster bomb, and the rocket bomb. I was saying when we were considering taking it initially, I wasn't sure if it was going to work. It definitely works. And you guys are probably screaming it like, Vids, make sure you do it. Don't forget, don't pass up that opportunity. And well, I'm glad that we gave it a shot.
The trials of Prince Zagreus have only just begun.
Oh, have they now? But for the time being, there is still no escape.
I'm back. Huh.
So back we go. Let's see if there's anything new. Our 1.0 launch will feature the true ending of the story. Yeah, actually, the Adventures of Zagreus will continue once we exit early access for our 1.0 launch later this year. A while back, they were saying that the end of this year was their target date, and it's good to see that that is still the case. 1.0 will feature the true ending of the story, with new story events for every character, new features and improvements, and other surprises. Until then, look to the Pact of Punishment in the house's courtyard for the ultimate challenge. Like Hades. Alright, I look forward to it then.
I'm up. Oh, hi, you're welcome. Just go right ahead, I guess.
Okay.
Bye, Hypnos.
Thanks, Hypnos. Well, Dad's back.
All over for you.
Already. I mean, you knew where we were, right?
You know, Father, I must say, ransacking your domain beats having to toil endlessly in the administrative chamber. Far less painful, really.
Yeah.
Carl, is that your way of asking me for your old job back, boy? You were a scourge upon every administrative duty to which you were assigned.
Yeah, maybe, but didn't really need to get done, right? I mean, who needs that stuff?
Yes, please, Father, give me back my old wretched job, won't you?
Privileges are earned and not begged for, boy. Unless you plan to reimburse this house for all the income that we lost because of you, then you shall not so much as set foot in the administrative chamber again.
Yeah, we'll see about that.
How much is the reimbursement fee anyway?
Not sure we want to know.
Whichever exorbitant amount the house contractor has on record. Now leave me be.
Alright, so let's take a quick look around and see who we can talk to. Achilles is not here. Nor is Thanatos. Oh, some shades over here in the corner.
How goes it, Shades?
Huh.
What?
Okay. House contractor.
Where's our court musician?
And no Orpheus either, yeah. Where'd everyone go?
Access
No
to the
Cerberus?
administrative chamber, huh?
There is the exorbitant price. 3 diamonds. We did pick up one in this previous run, so we could actually upgrade to the Contractor's Desk Deluxe. Which, I was saying earlier, does sound intriguing, and I think we ought to give that a shot, right?
You've done so much for us, House Contractor. Why don't you do a little something for yourself?
If that mess of a table enhances the contractor's productivity, then so be it.
And it appears as though that does. Because now we have several more options here. That are keys, gems, Dark Thirst. Underworld Renovation, your weapon's Dark Thirst also gives plus 20% gems. So previously, the Darker, I guess this is Darker Thirst. Right now we have just Dark Thirst. It is an effect that normally gives you plus 20% darkness gained on a given run when you choose a specific weapon. It's a way to kind of help you choose which weapon you want to use. And so, if we were to get this upgrade, we'd also get a bit of a gem boost as well. That's good to see. That might be a good thing for us to target. And as for new things over here, looks like just additional decorations of various varieties. Decorative arms. And other things that we may or may not have ever looked at before. But they're here.
And next.
Let's see if there's anyone else to talk to, though. Like,
The
say,
chef is going to want this fish.
Meg.
Zagreus, please tell me that the rumors are untrue. You really vanquished him? Have you completely lost your mind? You're going to destroy this blasted house.
Maybe that's the point.
Come on, Meg. Father had it coming for some time. What's your concern besides? The house is safe.
He's not going to take this lying down. He'll find some way to take it out on you, on all of us. You watch yourself or all of us will pay.
Yeah, we'll be fine, Meg.
I will
Don't
not
be
let
such
that
a worry wart. And the chef. Is that a new animation? He definitely was not doing that before. That is some nifty knife work, chef. I guess maybe let's keep our distance.
Here's the latest catch, chef.
But we turn in all of our fish, and then get a bunch of resources for it. So not bad. Not bad. And then let's see what Nyx and Dusa are up to over here.
And after that, Dusa, you are to clean the rafters once again and prune the gardens thoroughly. By then it should be time to tend the kitchens and sweep the lounging area a second time.
Eesh, that's rough, Nyx.
Yes, right away.
Poor Dusa.
Poor Dusa, indeed. I think that might actually be some new dialogue from the Nighty Night update that I just did not play very much of the game following that update. Because that was an update in which Nyx got a bunch of new dialogue, and they were talking about how they wanted to make her seem a little bit more like she was sort of in charge in the underworld, because in many ways she, at least next to Hades, is.
That's one prophecy out of the way.
Oh? Goddess of Wisdom? Oh, did we get everything from Athena?
Can't believe Lady Athena's fighting for me.
Yeah, it appears as though we have. That's a pretty sizable gem count there. As for Mirror, does appear as though, well, we have everything unlocked, but not necessarily fully upgraded. Our Pride each rank gives you 1% greater chance of Moon being epic. Have almost 900 darkness at the moment, so sure. The other alternative would have been to invest in Fated Authority, which allows us to re-roll a given room. Granted, we have now fully upgraded God's Pride and can no longer afford Fated Authority, but I think that's fine for the time being. And we can, of course, swap everything over to the other side, to the Chili Peppers, in which case looks like for the most part we've not really upgraded this much at all, there are some interesting ones here that we might want to consider, like Dark Regeneration, which makes it so that each rank we actually gain life from darkness whenever we pick up darkness. The alternative would normally be the gain 3 life every time you enter a room, which is a little bit of life, but it's consistent. Whereas this is a little bit more chunky in a way, in that most of the time you won't be getting any life back. However, when you do happen to get a significant amount of darkness, it can actually add up quite a bit. So let's try that, I think. And that is fully upgraded now, not too expensive. Other than that, I think we'll keep things simple here and stick with the original set.
Nix's strength.
So that's the mirror. Is there anything else over here we ought to take a look at?
Okay.
No Skelly either. What happened, man? Where's everybody? Okay. And with that, I think this is probably a good place for us to wrap up, so we'll head on out, and I'll just begin this next escape. So. But there is your look
The surface is off limits.
at Hades, first and foremost.
Furthermore, you are forbidden from the Temple of Styx until such time as you are fit to tend the situation there.
Styx is fine. For us, at least. Maybe not for you, based on what happened last time. But like I said, I think this is a good place for us to wrap up this video. That is a look at what you can get for the blood price update, which I'm sure we've only just skimmed the surface, and so I may end up doing a couple more videos focusing on what is new in this update. We'll just have to wait and see. If so, then I'll see you in the next one.